Second story I wanted to tell you. Hi, my name is New, and I wanted to tell you a story. So I'd flown in and I left early in the morning and I went to a trail that leads Machu Picchu. So it's down the trail and there were guides and they were sleeping on the sides of the road. And I was walking with my headlamp and I made it all the way to the gate and the gate was still shut. And there was nobody else there. I was the first person to make it that day. And then the guards told me that I had to wait. And so I sat there and I waited until like 5, I think it was 4:30 in the morning. And all these other people started to show up one by one. Then we had a group of maybe like 30, 50 people. And we were all ready to go out to Machu Picchu. And the guards opened the gate and we all kind of flooded out with our headlamps on, and we're heading up the Inca Trail up to Machu Picchu, and walking. And it was pretty arduous. There's a lot of steps and things like that, and it was a little slick because it was muddy and stuff. So we got up there and we hiked through the mud, and it was still dark. And I remember looking back. I was about halfway up and I looked back and there were these little green dots moving through the jungle, and it was all of our headlamps that were lit up. And so we were walking all up and people were passing me because I wasn't in the best shape, and they were making it up there. And I finally got up to the gate, and the sun started to rise and the light was like lighting up the sky, but just in that pale like dawn light. And we got up there, and then they checked our tickets and we went inside, and we sat on a terrace there because they hadn't opened up to go into the citadel yet. So I set my crystals out in front of me and I started meditating, and I was meditating, and then the light eventually broke over the mountain because it's like in like this like circular cove of rocks. And so the light broke in from the top and it just hit me right in the forehead. And that was an amazing like download of like energy and like Pachamama energy and like celestial energy. It was really powerful. And I was sitting there charging up all my crystals, and then I left there because they opened up the gate, and we went up on the little hills overlooking the citadel. And then I went on a walk up to the sun gate, and the sun gate, there's this amazing path, and I looked down and all the rocks were like glittering and like green specks. And like I stopped at one area that a guide said was like a sacred spot for a sacred burial spot, and I didn't know that. I just thought it was like I liked the energy there, so I stayed there. And then went up to the sun gate, and I sat on the sun gate and I looked over directly to Hawaii Picchu. And then I walked down and I went through the citadel, and that was pretty crazy because there's 1 million people. But then I went down and I found the Temple of the Condor, and I hadn't ever heard of it before, except for the day before I'd heard about the Temple of the Condor. And so I found it, and there were very few people walking through this place, but it was the most strong and powerful energy for me was that Temple of the Condor energy. It was amazing. And for those who don't know, it's like these like ancient rocks that just form in the shape of a condor. And so I went there, and then that was I left a offering of the coca leaves, and then that was it for me. I took the bus back because I didn't want to walk all the way down that slippery trail again. And so that was it for that day. And then the next day I was going through different shops and different areas, and there was this guy that was sitting really quietly making different crystal pendants and things like that. And I saw him, and I was like I was telling him about the Valley of the Condor and how much that meant to me and how amazing it was. and he went over and he grabbed this gray feather and he just swooped it like 4 times across my head. And I don't know what that meant, but I took it as a greeting and validation, I guess. But anyway, that was another huge download for me, was sitting there in the sun and getting the rays of the sun to hit me. And it was just an awakening experience, and it was just really profound. And then to have that followed up with the Valley of the Condor and that shaman and making the crystals and stuff, it just really was an amazing experience, and something that I hope every one of you guys gets to experience that one day, because it really was a humbling experience to be up on the mountain. So anyway, that was my story. I hope you do well. Much peace. Namaste.